Welcome to the A to Z Golfing Podcast with the three best friends that anybody could have. Andy Cezanne.
How's it going?
Fresh from the back of a milk carton, Rob McGuire.
I made it.
Awesome in the green room. And our very fine gentleman joining us for the first time in 2022, Matthew Grubich.
Hello.
Literally ordered a tanning booth in our pre-show work meeting.
I did.
He's very upset about it, about his complexion right now. So it's okay. He is a beautiful human. He's a beautiful human. He does not normally look like this. The sun will come out sometime in April, I think, around us. So we'll be good to go. This episode is going to be presented again by AM Golf Trips, where camaraderie and competition meet locally and nationally. Please check out amgolftrips.com. So, gentlemen, obviously there's a ton of football going on this weekend. I don't know if you guys watch the NFL. I don't really watch the NFL all that much, except for trying to figure out what to bet on. So, but besides that, I wanted to touch base on the beginning part of the season real quick. I didn't get to in the last episode, but the three guys that broke the record at Kapalua. I wanted to cover it at the last show, but it's just like, I actually went back and rewatched it and how crazy the scoring was. Did anybody really like catch the whole thing?
I did not.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw some final scores. It's like a video game. It's like video game stuff.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Video games.
Yeah, I was playing the Tiger Woods game pretty much back in the day.
Do you think Cam Smith is going to be able to have a successful 2022?
No.
No, not at all. Not at
I think isn't there usually like, didn't Jimmy Walker have a great Hawaiian season years ago and then didn't do anything? Like, doesn't this usually happen? Players will play well really early.
Right?
Has he?
Yeah, I mean, I also think that once you start getting to like the Sony Open and all these events that are coming up right now, this is really like where the guys are trying to get their dollar amount up, because they know that there's going to be less opportunities later in the season once you start getting into like the rankings events, you know, where you gotta have a certain amount of points, you gotta have certain ranking status. But I can't. I'm having a hard time with where the game is going and why we're not doing it. Like, I'm not pro like turn back the clubs and let's have like hickory shafts, but I mean, three guys break the scoring record in one event. It's just like you don't see that.
Well, didn't they interview Ram about that too? And wasn't he like,
what would you like to do then to try to get the scores back down, make the courses tougher, or change equipment?
Well, I personally think the major should be the toughest, and if you're going to tier your events, I think that you should make the golf courses harder for the tiered events. But I said it last year when we talked about this on the podcast. I just think it has to do with the golf ball. I think the golf ball is engineered so perfectly to each specific player that there's nothing that they have to worry about. And I don't know if they do it in baseball or any of the other sports where they regulate what you use, but I feel like they should come together with some sort of regulation as it compares to the golf ball, because you just see guys they're going to swing harder and harder and harder and harder, and the ball's not going to go right or left. It's just going to go straight, right? So then it just becomes about being square, and they're the best players in the world, so they can figure that out. But if you can calibrate anything perfectly to an individual's game, I mean, the ball's just going to do whatever they're teaching it to do, basically.
It didn't hurt that the wind wasn't blowing at all in Hawaii.
Yeah. No. I think that's a fair point. I just, to see the record broken by three different individuals, I think was more glaring thing. Like if Cam Smith had just run away and won by 10 or 8, okay, he had the 4 rounds of his career, but the fact that he won by 1 and then third place was 2 shots back was pretty crazy. But
I think I
just wanted to bring that up.
I think it takes away from it a little bit too. Once you see that, you're like, it's impressive, but at the same time, you're like, well, something was going on, right? I mean, whether it was the setup or like Rob said with the wind conditions, whatever it was, almost lessen the wow factor of it a little bit with other guys doing what they did. But I agree with you. Something needs to be done.
You mean it was like week 17 and all the NFL records being broken with the extra game?
Yeah.
Week 18, I should say.
Like, are we supposed to be impressed that they got more games to do it?
Yeah.
Just wait till they go to week 18.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the 2-buys or whatever they were doing. Okay, so my apologies, got started a little off the track, but last week we talked a lot about the first 2 trips of the season coming up in Las Vegas and Pebble Beach, and I wanted to focus specifically here and give the attention that it's due on Forest Dunes. There was a lot of stuff that came out about Forest Dunes. It's all great stuff. I didn't even know about it. Rob has kind of been the giddy one about this. Beautiful wine. Is that a cab or a Pinot?
It is a cab. A 2019.
It's a cab.
Cameron Hughes. Thank you. Yeah.
Looks very good. Very good. Shout out to Cameron Hughes. Thank you.
Shout out to my father, Phil Grubich, for dropping that off last week. Thanks.
That's right. Good job there, Philly G. Yeah. Philly G, one of the original gangsters of the group. But I go back to Forest Dunes. So I didn't really know a lot about this golf course. I've read some of the reviews with the greens that are double complexes, so you could play it from 2 different directions, which is really cool. But I want to pass this over to Rob. This was Rob's like step out of the box for 2022, which I loved it. I know everyone has talked highly of it and all the golf courses in that area. But Rob, if you could give us basically a synopsis of what you came to find out about the course and how you determined that you wanted to put it on the schedule.
Well, let's set the record straight. I'm pretty sure that when I came to you guys with the idea to go to Forest Dunes, you guys were all like, "Forest what? Where?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?" Like,
that is accurate.
You guys, I bet you all Googled it as well. And so, and you all know me with my spreadsheets and my research, all that good stuff. So it was a course that was on my radar for a while. I had heard some really great things about it. And then the more I dug into it and the more I started to learn a little bit more about this reversible course that they built, the loop, I just became completely enthralled, if you will, intrigued, just to kind of learn a little bit more about how could they do this? How does this work and whatnot from there. And the more I dug on it, the deeper I got, the more I learned that this is actually one of the top 30 places to play in the country. And that was the course that we're not even talking about. That's the Forest Dunes course. So there's, 36 holes. It's 36 holes routed. That play is 54. And so the more I just kept learning about this, and then I started thinking back to really, Matt, our original first trip, Gull Lake years ago, Michigan golf, buddies trip, really kind of one of the moments in our lives where we started thinking about AM golf trips and kind of how we can do some of this kind of stuff. I just thought Forest Dunes is that. It's that place. And with our success of our buddies trips that we've had over the years, I just knew that we had to visit it. I knew we had to look at it and promote it. And I firmly believe when we get people there, they're going to love it as well. They're just going to be blown away.
Matt?
Oh, I didn't realize you were coming to me. Yeah, no, as Rob knows, I'm a huge fan of Michigan.
Well, he tried to pass it to you. Very swiftly.
This is my first appearance of 2022.
He's rusty.
I'm a little rusty.
He's worried about the tanning bed.
I'm not gonna lie. Didn't know a lot about Forest Dunes. Rob came to me. Same thing. Google it. Try to figure it out. I know. I lived in this state for a couple of years too, but I know that state is packed with amazing golf courses. Like Rob said, we did a buddies trip for what I think it was 12 years in Michigan. Played courses around where our normal trip was too, on the couple days before, a couple days after of that trip. So we know there's so many possibilities out there. So Rob knows that I love Michigan golf. Came to me, talked about it, said, "Hey, the way we feel about Michigan golf, this has a chance to be, a really nice track and something new." And if we market it correct and inform people about the quality of golf it is, it could be a good trip. So super excited about it. It's obviously we've done a good job kind of spreading the word, because I know not to jump what you're going to talk about soon here, Anthony, but there aren't many spots even available coming up here. But super geeked. I think it's great to go somewhere new and find a hidden gem here and there. And I feel like that's what we're doing, in July.
Andy, through some of your research, I know that you obviously were like me. You hadn't even heard about it. So through some of your research, what are some of the cool things that you've learned about the golf course over the past, what has it been, like probably 8 months? 8 months since we found out about it?
Yeah, so like everyone else, I knew absolutely zero about the course. I like that they're still talking about building more on top of it. They're saying this is just the beginning, so they have so much land that they said it's even better than what they have right now. So it's still going to be expanding. So this could be a place where you can go years to come, and you get a different experience every time you go. So I'm looking forward to that. I said on the last one too that the founders, some of the founders of StreamSong that left them, came up and purchased uh, Forest Dunes. So they know what they're doing. Obviously, StreamSong's extremely successful, and I think they're gonna just make Forest Dunes same exact thing.
So let me just tell you a quick story. When I called Forest Dunes for the first time, I talked to this wonderful gal named Sandy. And Sandy was like, I don't have time to talk to you. Our phones are ringing off the hook. Sorry. And she like literally hung up the phone. And I was like, whoa. We got to try this again. Called Sandy back. And I was like, Sandy, listen, this is what we're doing. This is who we are. This is how we've been. We've been successful. I told her the places we've been. She's like, yeah. Can you send me an email? I am really, really busy on all this kind of stuff. Yeah, cool. Send you an email. Follow up with her. Call her back. Did you read my email? No, I haven't read my email. We can't, there's so many people who want to come and play this. We just can't keep up with the demand. And I was like, it sounds like you need an assistant. Where does that come from? And she's like, we're just crazy. She's like, it's just absolutely phone's ringing off the hook. So I was like, listen, Sandy, carve out some time, give me 15 minutes of your undivided attention. And when we told her what we were doing and what we were, all about, she's like, this sounds really cool. This sounds like a really good group that we would really want to invite here. I was like, see, I told you. That's why we're having this conversation. And so it's been really kind of fun to work with this gal, Sandy, who's, this course has just been completely inundated by the popularity. It's almost like they didn't even know what they had. And so it's going to be really fun to get on site and show people how cool of a place this is, for sure.
It's like a hidden gem. Everyone I've showed pictures to or sent them to the website, everyone I've sent has came back saying, wow, how have I not heard this, or this looks amazing. And they can't wait to get out there with us.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
I try to do as much due diligence about it and get pumped up about it, but I feel like we go to so many we've also been to a lot of great places that I kind of try to not read a lot to put a lot of expectations on it. But this might sound familiar. I try to lower the bar. It's the Pebble Beach bar. I'm trying to bring it back down. But I got sold on this little quote. You really have to think your way around the golf course, which probably is, would cater to me. And it said,
I'm screwed.
And it said, with a course this wide, you usually hit driver, find your ball, and hit it again. And that's me. That is my biggest advice to anybody that's ever played golf. We talked about it on 2 episodes, but that right there, that sold me alone. So now, of course, I have to go. So, I mean, I was going, but that quote alone, I would like to talk to Oscar, whoever this interview is done with. Hopefully Andy can get on it and find out who Oscar is. Absolutely. I do love the other thing that I love about it is being a very traditional sort of golfer and a historian of the game. I love that it's par 70 any way that you do it. Like, it's a par 70 golf course, which I think are way more challenging golf courses because, generally speaking, most of the time you're going to lose 2 of the par 5s. But I just think it's a really, really cool idea to have that style the whole way around. I just think it's probably going to be one of the things that once I'm done playing it, I'm probably going to have to go back so that you get a little bit more time with it individually to be able to understand exactly like what goes into all the intricacies of the architecture and how it was built and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's, the other thing that we haven't spoken too much about is the contrast that we're going to get from Forest Dunes to the Loop course. 2 almost completely different golf courses. Forest Dunes is literally going to be that Parkland style, tree lined, traditional Michigan golf. And we're going to play that on Sunday. And then we're going to go and play the Loop Red, Loop Black on Mondays and Tuesdays. So it's going to be really interesting to see how people are going to go, oh, this is Michigan golf. And then it's almost like they're going to get smacked in the face with this cool design and different way to play.
I'm a big fan of that. I love when you go to a resort course and you don't have to leave, but you felt like you went somewhere completely different. Lawsonia is like that, right? With the two tracks that you have, they feel completely different, but they're all, literally right on top of each other, which is, I'm geeked about that. I'm looking forward to experiencing that.
I think we have to have a geek jar. Every time we use the word geek,
Geek?
Geeked up.
Like geeked up. All right.
Geeked up.
I don't think you're going to have to worry about me ever saying it. So
you said it last episode.
Cool.
I did.
Yeah.
Someone had to. I wasn't here. If I wasn't on the last episode, and I say it a lot. So
was it in the outtakes?
Fact check.
No, it was in the episode. Fact check.
Fact check.
To me, those are the things that I geek out about. Things that I geek out about.
Jeez. All right. Well, let's get off of the Geeked Jar. Obviously, as we have most years, we have really put one place continuously on our schedule, and it's always been Kohler. It's kind of been our staple since way back when the 2-day major got created, and then the 3-day, and then the trips and stuff like that. And obviously coming off of the Ryder Cup that was just there, that the Americans won. Yes, I can say that the Americans won it. I'm not anti the United States of America. I'm still a little upset.
Are you gonna get through this? Okay.
They didn't just win; they dominated. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm gonna get through it. Well,
yeah.
Obviously going back there is going to be sort of a new thing. Rob, you have your little thing there, your history there.
Mm-hmm.
Now Matt has history there with the hole-in-one and being a part of it. And, obviously I wasn't there to celebrate, so I'm probably going to try to make a hole-in-one on a different hole just to maybe up him, or at least somebody can, so I can be a part of a good time.
Or the same hole, just a little farther.
Yeah. I'm gonna start with Matt. Obviously we put this on the schedule every year. It's your favorite place to go. So
yes,
I'll just start with you. I mean, what the one thing you're looking forward to going back up there this year, coming off of the Ryder Cup?
So my favorite thing about this course is when you get to experience putting on an event at a place when people show up and they're in awe and they enjoy it, right? That's why I love to do what we do. But I love being part of setting something up when players are on the first tee, and then we're there when they come off 18 and they are in awe. And not just the Straits, this is multiple courses. So when you're able to put on that experience and see people's reaction, now I know last year with some of the fog and whatnot, and I didn't get to experience the whole thing, but when you get to put on events like this and people get to experience that kind of course with that kind of, history and the Ryder Cup and things going on there, there's nothing better than that. I love going there and doing that. Another thing I love is the people there. I've said this, I think we talked about it on a previous podcast when I was on, is the people there, you do not feel like you're at one of the top resorts or courses in the country who feel like they're better than everybody else. It's a very Midwest Wisconsin feel to where the workers, they know they have this gem of a course and they treat you like it's a local muni course, right? Like it just has a whole nother feel. So I'm just a big fan. That's what I love most about it. And I'm looking forward to get back. To me, it's a no-brainer. People are there. They play it. They come over from all over the country to experience it. And when they know that when they can show up, everything's done for them, get a nice tea gift. The people are great. They get to meet new people. I get to play one of the best courses in multiple courses in the country. It's just, there's nothing better. I just, to me, it's a no-brainer for us to do it every year and put on that experience for multiple golfers from all over. So I love it. It goes beyond the hole-in-one. I love the place. I love the people. I love doing that every year.
I think we've always tried to, we always have these conversations within our inner circle about furthering the experience, or always thinking about the players and what is something different that we can do than an outing they've been to or another event that they've been to. And I think this year, which is going to be awesome, is finally getting to see the baths, because for the last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, last year it was almost done. 2 years ago, you got to see like where they were carving it out, because it's between if I'm not mistaken, it's between the Meadow Valleys course. I don't think the river comes in there, if I'm mistaken. Maybe it does, the one hole that goes down. But But that's going to be really cool to sort of be a part of with the old fixtures that they have out there. I've seen like the old bathtubs that they have ice and stuff in, which is going to be awesome. But to me, that's going to be the next evolution for any golf event that goes there. You have to incorporate that. And we're noticing it everywhere you go, right, Rob?
Absolutely. It's just these new short courses and kind of the added element that they're bringing to these places just makes it that much more fun. And that much more enjoyable, right? To go out there. Another thing that I'm also going to be really interested is we're almost playing this in a different season, right? For the first time. So being in October, this is actually it'll be 1 week later than what the Ryder Cup was played traditionally from the weather perspective. So, which just means the wind will be blowing a little bit differently than when we've been there in the past. So I think it'll present a little bit of a different challenge and a different view, if you will. And that course can be played in a lot of different ways. It can be played on the ground. It can be played in the air. So I'm also looking forward to kind of playing, some of that cooler October air. See how that's going to change what the course really is. Should be interesting.
Some of the leaves changing too would be nice. I mean, just me, I'm an ambiance guy. Just I think it'll be cool to kind of see some of that, see what that looks like. Give it a different perspective from what we're used to seeing it in the springtime.
Andy's looking forward to potentially having me serve him some more cocktails out in the middle of the ninth fairway.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what he's waiting for. And feeling terrible for Burke Davis. A little shout out to Burke Davis.
Yeah. See if that Tito's and lemonade tastes a little bit different in October.
Double Tito's and lemonade. Let's get that straight.
Oh yeah, and it was quick. I hit him with like 2 or 3 quick, like in 4 holes.
Two really fast. It was fast.
And he hit a bunker to the left of 9. I've never seen a human up there. I have a great Polaroid of it. I have a fantastic
left of 9.
Left of 9.
He hit a great drive on 9. Yeah. Hit a great drive on 9. He's in the middle of the fairway. I pulled out the phone, and he hit this gigantic pull left with a hook. And literally in the video, the caddy just pulls out like 4 clubs and hands it to him, and starts walking off to the other to Burke's position.
Wait, what flag?
Yeah, not the 1-on-1 or the practice green. You're totally getting a double at the turn. You better finish that. You better finish that.
I cannot. Take a couple of wedges and start looking at it.
And then Andy gets over there, and I took the video of him up at
I was up there with him, by the way.
Were you up there?
Because we weren't playing. Rob and I weren't playing. We were. I think Rob at that point was getting people off one. Rob was getting people off one, and I was just watching people come through. And I saw the hit, and I'm like, oh yeah. And that's where I was up on the hill by the clubhouse. Went over to talk to him. I knew he was feeling pretty good. The Tito's were feeling pretty good. But it was great because I think you yelled something like, "Hey, how's the view from up there?" Something similar to that. So, but yeah, I was up there. We got to chat a little bit and
a little reminiscent of you in Vegas, though, Tony, climbing the mountain.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for Vegas? The photo, yeah. That was a good time. The only problem with that is I wore all black and long sleeves, and it happened to be like an 81-degree day in February in the middle of the desert. I couldn't wait for that round to be over so I could go in and buy a polo. But that was I mean, for Andy, I have so many videos of Andy from playing this year at Elgin and not getting invited over to his club, but that's besides the point.
Whoa.
But it's so cool because I have that video of him and I can put myself right back in the moment of like in the video, you could see him like tensing up over the second shot because I'm just talking the whole time. Like I'm just like, you're gonna hit a good shot. Don't worry about it, Andy. This is gonna be a great shot. It's all gonna be on video. And he almost hit his left kneecap at impact with the club.
Well,
like it was impressive.
I would say, probably 75% of this podcast has probably been there where we've all hit a really good drive and we've got a manageable number into a green, and you're like, yeah, I got this. And I know for myself, I'm Chunk City, so I, will hit 4 inches behind the ball and I'll hit the ball 55 yards, and it's the best feeling in the world to make bogey from there. So I know what you're feeling, Andy. We're human.
So much better when you have it on video. Like that's.
Yeah, I think it was an 8-iron. I think I was 136 out, and then I was in about 65 yards above sea level on my next one. just playing from a bunker
Rob,
that probably never existed.
If you drew a line from the 9th fairway to the forward tee box on one, split the difference. He was between, I had never.
I'm trying to picture exactly.
When the
When
caddy
you said
said
left
just
at
start
9, I was
walking
like,
I'll show you this year.
There is no rakes up here. Heads up.
Andy Cezanne, product of
That's in the hole.
Puerto Rico.
We're not the pass. Don't worry about it. It was close.
There he is,
It was on line.
pretending to be a mountain goat. He's about the.
yeah, that's good stuff right there.
Fantastic.
No, it was pretty awesome. But I mean, it's definitely just one of those places that just keeps its iconic status. It just keeps going up and up and up. And I mean, especially coming through, well, we're still in COVID or whatever the heck we're in now, but to have that Ryder Cup and have that turnout for it, have the energy from the crowd, and we weren't there. We were up in Minnesota at Hazeltine, but to be able to see that and see that people were starting to go back out there and play golf, it's going to be really, I mean, it's always cool walking around on the grounds, but now there's even more memories of, you got Jordan Spieth like hitting a big flop shot and losing the hole and talking to himself and complaining, and then walking to the next tee and stuff like that. But it's going to be cool to try to stand there and try to reminisce what he was facing. So it's always going to be a cool time up there. And Ed, it'll be good to see Ed.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
it.
Ed'll have a little less stress next time we see him. I mean, he was, planning a Ryder Cup and then working with us. I mean, obviously we're super laid back, but it'll be good to see Ed for sure.
Yeah, I would assume it's probably, more demands by the USGA and the PGA of America and the RNA. I would just assume there's more demands.
I think their checklist is a little deeper than ours for sure.
You know what I noticed? They allow them to put flags in the ground. Like they don't have restrictions from the irrigation system. Like those people, there's stands. They've got to be in the ground, right?
I don't think they are though. Yeah, we should ask.
Insert video, Andy. Insert video.
Yeah. Fact check.
Yeah.
Fact check.
So good.
Oh, wow. Well, okay. So those are the 4 trips this year. It's Las Vegas, Pebble Beach, Forest Dunes, and Whistling Straits. Those are the 4 for 2022. I'm sure you're going to see announcements, posts, little teasers on 2023. I know Rob is working religiously on that, and I'm sure he's probably already got one set in stone, but he doesn't like to tell us because he knows that we'll probably tell everybody. So he worries about that a little bit. But the newest aspect of what we're doing in 2022 is something that's familiar to us, and it is the City Series, which is going to take place in Chicago. We if anybody has been around us, we did events for the Golf Week Amateur Tour for a very long time in Chicago. Rob and Matt were sort of the ones that built sort of the amateur flighted event style format in Chicago. Taking a little bit of time off since then and now getting back into it. If you two could talk a little bit about the concept that you guys came up with that's a little bit different than what we're used to for the last 10 or 11 years previous to starting AM Golf Trips, and maybe a little explanation about what's going to be involved in it.
Yeah, so super excited about getting the Chicago Series rolling here in 2022. And to your point, we've been running events for 12 years now. This individual stroke play flighted arena, if you will, is an arena that we know really well. And one of the things as we started to do AM Golf Trips, started to go on some of these bucket list destinations and started to run some of these 4-ball events, we still realized that there was a craving for individual play, right? As much fun as we're having on our trips and doing our thing, there's still that competitive side that golfers want to go out and kind of test their game and test their ability and play against their own skill level. And so, I think one of the things that we have noticed over the years is people's time is also very different than maybe what it was 2, 3, maybe even 5 years ago in terms of what they can spend on the golf course. So what we decided to do in 2022 and beyond is really create a more manageable golf tour, if you will, a more manageable ability to get to events. And really what we've centered this all around is the idea that there is no membership that's required to be a part of this group. It's really, we're trying to be inclusive. We're trying to, bring all golfers to the table and give them a chance to compete. And so, it really kind of was born from this no membership concept to give players just an avenue to compete individually with what we do. And so what we've set up is 4 2-day events, all played on the weekends at arguably probably 8 of the best golf courses in the Chicagoland area. And we're going to go out and play, do the format that we know best, which is individual stroke play, and break it down by 5 divisions, and give those players an opportunity to put a peg in the ground and see where their game stands relative to their peers from that side. And then the nuance that we're also bringing to the table is guaranteed prize money. We realize that, when other groups that do these kinds of events, they don't put guarantees, they don't put themselves out there in any way, shape, or form. And so we're going to guarantee $1,000 payout for each division winner at each event, and give the players an opportunity to really compete, really feel that pressure more than anything else. And I think, we've got countless stories over the years of players who've played in these events who love that intensity and that feeling, if you will. And so we're going to kind of put some big prize money behind it. We're going to give them an opportunity to pick and choose where they want to play and when they want to play. There's no minimums. They can play in 1 2-day event. It's 1 weekend out of their entire summer. They bring a verifiable handicap to the table, and we're off and running. So, Matt and I have talked a lot about this over the last few months. We've talked a lot about this over the last 12 years, and just feel like it's a better way to bring more people to the game of golf and really be competitive from that side.
Yeah, my favorite part of it is we're offering more, right? More varieties, more options. We understand that, the bucket list thing is for everybody, right? Golfers that want to come up and come and play in our events, that they like the competition aspect of it, but they like just showing up, playing the places they would normally got to get a chance to play, meet new people, a little more relaxed. We have the series events that are, people that love the team aspect of it, right? And then you still get these people, we did it for a long time. We know in Chicago, we know in St. Louis, we know in Milwaukee, that miss that, hey, I'm on an island by myself. They love that. They're like, I wish you guys were still doing that, right? And so we're bringing that back to those that still miss that. And then we're gonna have people that do multiple, that do the series, that do the city series. But that's what I'm excited about, is adding another aspect of AM golf trips and bringing another option to our people. I mean, again, we've gotten to know a lot of people throughout the Midwest running those events over the past 10 to 12 years. And a lot of them just said, hey, the 4 ball is not my thing. The bucket list thing, they've come here and there, but they miss those individual events. So we're listening to, the people that we've known well and we've kept in contact with. And that's what I'm excited about. Just bringing that other option and, adding more things and more places for the people that we've gotten to know well to compete.
To that point, yep. I mean, look, the 2 individuals on this call with us, Matt, Andy and Anthony, we met them through individual events, right? And so I guess throwing it back to you guys, hearing a little bit more about this and knowing that you guys, met us through the ways that we've done these events in the past. What are your guys' thoughts as you guys started to hear our crazy plans and guarantees and inclusive, no memberships and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, the guarantees that's the amazing part of it. Because when you were in the flights earlier, like I bounced between the D flight, C flight, and B flight. When you were in the C flight, you're playing for a decent sized one, and then I bounced to the B flight, and it was a bigger one, and I just couldn't even compete with that one. But I like the aspect that every flight, no matter what, it's a guaranteed price coming at you. I like putting that pressure on myself for a golf game. I do like depending on someone else also, but at the same time, I like going back to my roots, and then me versus the golf course, me versus the whole field. I miss that too.
For me, I think the biggest thing is Andy brought up a good point about the B, C, and D flight, right? And I was sort of on the other side of that, and it was always in any really amateur tour that we've sort of seen out there or been around it for as long as we have, getting better players to come play in events, I think has two singular motives. Either they are overly competitive, which is like what I was, and wanted to win, and the trophy means the world to you. Secondly, is trying to have enough money in it to where it's entertainable for these guys that play in skins games on the weekend or money games, or will work around the USGA schedule because maybe they played in college and they want to qualify for something, or the city or CDGA around here. But I think this is both, right? I find this to be very sort of awesome that it's finally happening, and it's not protected by a certain amount of money has to be put into a prize pool for every person. And 1 week it's this amount, or 1 week it's this amount, and one state it's this amount. I personally don't, now that I look back on it, and now that I look at what we're getting ready to do, I think it sets a precedence to start asking questions about what is for the players and why can't everybody give this back? I'm not saying we're better than anybody else. We're not better than the USGA or the CDGA, but any chance you can give back to the players at all costs, the maximum that you can, I don't see why everybody wouldn't be doing this. I just don't, especially from the prize pool side.
And then also the no membership fee. Like, that was my biggest thing when I first had kids, was I didn't want to pay a membership fee when I knew I was only going to be able to make it to 1 or 2 events. So then I didn't even bother joining anymore because I didn't want to get out for that anymore.
Yeah, it's a huge part to take away the idea that you have to put down a chunk of change to join, and then you feel committed. And if you have, I mean, we've had the individuals who were injured, or they just had their summers filled up with other commitments or whatever it might be. And so the idea for us, and that's kind of really the journey that we've been on here at AM Golf Trips, is the idea to bring more people to the game, and the easiest way to do that is to not give them a barrier up front, and to eliminate that from that side, and show them what we're doing. So super excited about what this is going to be, and where this is going to take us, and to Matt's point, just bringing in another type of tournament into the portfolio, and bringing more people to the game. So really excited to get this going. First event will be.
I don't want to jump over Matt real quick because it looked like he was going to say something.
No,
but,
you're good.
You did.
So four events. They're all 2-day events, which I think is awesome, because it's not just a come in, swing it around, have a great day, leave. It's going to be, you gotta win it over 2 days, which I think is excellent. Real quick, let's do the rundown real quick. Can you give us the 8 locations and 4 2 days?
Yeah, so we're going to start out in June. We're going to be over at Bowes Creek in Highlands of Elgin, 2-day event. And then in July, we're going to go over to up north to Stonewall Orchard and McRae Memorial. 2 very excitable golf courses with very slick greens from that side. They were rated. Did you know that? Did you guys hear that last year? They rated in the Chicago area golfers page. They rated McRae and Stonewall Orchard the best public greens in Chicago. So excited to have a 2-day combination there. And then in August, we're going to head over to Arrowhead and Cantini for a 36-hole combination. Cantini, one of Matt's all-time favorites. Loves that place, especially when it's all in bloom from there. And then in September, we're going to have kind of our Southside Classic, if you will. We'll be out at Bolingbrook Golf Club and Mistwood Golf Club. Mistwood's been a good place to us over the years, and to pair it with Bolingbrook is a really good combination. So I would argue that those 8 public golf courses are probably some of the finest you'll find in the Chicagoland area. And so, again, the ability to pick and choose which event you want to play in, 36 holes, guaranteed prizes, the no membership. There's no reason to not try it.
How has it been? When you were coming up with the idea to, obviously, the 2 days, and we had talked about it, that they were all going to be 2 days. How was it getting the golf courses to kind of see what you wanted to put together? Because obviously, coming through COVID and after COVID, you're hearing a lot more about whether it's the raising of rates or the amount of people playing golf. Not that they're squeezing the golfer, but obviously costs have gone up and stuff like that. So schedule wise, I mean, obviously we haven't even gone over another segment of what we're going to be doing this year. We'll probably do that, or I shouldn't say probably, we will do that on the next episode. But how has it been interacting? How has it been different from years past interacting with golf courses in late 2021, early 2022?
Yeah, I mean, I think the pandemic has completely changed this game in terms of the numbers of people that are playing. And so I've got longstanding relationships with a lot of these courses, and was able to have really kind of candid and open, frank conversations with them that were, they were basically saying, Rob, we're doing well. We have members here. We have permanent tee times. We've got, full tee sheets, whatever it might be. But, I think one of the selling points that we were able to bring to the table is the sister pairing of the golf courses. And so going to a Mistwood and saying, we're going to play you as day 2, and we're also going to play Bolingbrook as day 1. They thought that was a really just cool concept that nobody's doing right now. And so, it's different than the typical amateur tours where they're just focused on the one-day event and kind of get in and kind of get out. And then I think the secondary part too, and golfers will find this out with our events, we're doing a little bit more with the event itself, with the entry fee, where you're going to get a little bit more back in terms of some pro shop gift cards from the venue that we're playing as a participation piece, whereas some other groups are using those as kind of the prize pool. We're going to just incentivize along those lines. And so you'll see some food and some beverage and some different things, mixed into there. So we really brought a really kind of competitive argument, if you will, to these golf courses to say, look, we're not just here just for the golf. We're here to kind of showcase your venue, to kind of pair it with a sister course that's nearby, to create a different type of a tournament. And when we were able to explain that story to them, it was, where do we sign? How do we get on board? So it was pretty easy, but I think it's just another way of how we're trying to do things a little bit different and bring some cool ideas to the table.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, we spend so much time, being under sort of an umbrella to where we tried to come up with ideas that were, between border battles with 3 different cities and figuring out how to run it when we're getting told that we're crazy, or trying to have TBC Deer Run be the signature host of the border battle for so long. Once we figured out how to run it with 3 cities, or even adding another city, it was just, there were a lot of things that, we all had thought of and had great ideas about. And it's really cool to start to see some of these things that we maybe said in 2016, and somebody said something in 2018, and now you're bringing that all together and sort of bringing out the best of everything that we've wanted to do. Like for me, the 2-day events, I think, are what golfers that want to compete want to do it, because you might have a bad first round or have a mediocre first round, but you might play your way back into a paid position, or you might be 6 shots off the lead and come back and win, and then have a story to tell everybody else about it. Right. So I think it's cool. And I think in those instances, I think it's great that we're going to guarantee what we're going to do for the winners, because I think that's another thing to where every event that they register out of the 4 events, they know I win, this is X amount, and so on and so forth. And I think that's showcasing the importance of the amateur golfer so much more as far as what the evolution of it is.
I think it's just different pressure. I think it's different. You want to really test your game. I think when there's a guaranteed $1,000 that's on the line, that's different than a $200 prize pool that has 40 players in, right? There's a difference there. So I'm excited to see how that will play itself out.
I got nervous and 5-putted for like a $200 gift card. I can't even imagine what $1,000 on the line would be.
You rich, baby, you rich.
Oh man,
I was there.
So I was going to cover a few more things this evening, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move one of them down. So, but one of the things that I wanted to talk about, we're spending so much time talking about 2022. I had something that I was going to talk about from 2021, but I'm going to put that into next week. Is I was thinking a lot during the week at work, and a lot of different things about in the wintertime. I try to traditionally shut down golf. Like I probably won't pick up my golf clubs for like 6 to 8 weeks. So I kind of wanted to go around. Matt wasn't there last week because I was going to kind of ask this last week, but if you've started to think about goals for yourself in 2022, not strength 2.0, but for your golf game, what is something that you hope to accomplish in 2022 as it relates to your golf game?
Who wants to start?
I'll go first.
All right.
So for me, obviously,
This should be easy.
We all know my putting could be lackluster at times. So I'm going to be working pretty hard on that aspect of my game. I got my big moss in the garage. I got my swag perfect putter up in the office. So there's really no reason when next season comes that it happens, but we'll see. It's a long process. That and also getting back into shape. I'm working with Ball Striker Fitness to get my core strength back up, stay on the course longer, and do work.
Lackluster.
I like
he
that.
says.
Lackluster.
I like that.
Lackluster.
Oh,
No. We can go with piss poor. We can go with piss poor. Hey, listen, I love him to death, but I've been there with him. I've been there with him.
So actually, there was a moment I think at Paynes Valley this year where we were playing, and I think you walked over to me while he was putting and whispered, "Watch, this is going to be terrible." and of course, it was not a good putt at all.
Oh man,
you know, and all in a good way. It wasn't.
Was that on number? That was on number 2.
It was early.
I thought it was early or was it later?
Yeah. No, it was on. It was the long part. The long par 3. The long par 3 up the hill, and I think he
I
left.
didn't even make it up the hill. It came all the way back up past Rob's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Listen, I mean, for his thing,
I think I hit twice.
Putting is all confidence. I mean, you've all been around him. There isn't a guy, George Tudor. He's the best putter that I've ever seen in person because I've been around him a lot. And I think for him, it's just the confidence that he's not going to miss the next putt. If he rolls it 6 feet past, if he doesn't read it right. And I think once you can harness that concentration and you get over that fear, you just start putting. Like if you see George 3-putt, you're like, holy cow, I've never seen George 3-putt. But then you'll see him 1-putt 12 straight holes. Right. Yeah. So
George truly feels he's going to make every putt. It could be I've been on a course. Yes. I've been on a course with him where he's got a 50-footer, 45-footer, and he will read that thing like it's a 6-footer to win, which is fine. Like because he's that. We all know how good he is at it, and that's what it is. He honestly stands over that putt no matter how long and knows or thinks he's going to bury that thing, which makes him.
Yeah, and I'm the opposite. I know I'm going to blow it 20 feet past or have it 5 or probably 20 feet short.
Your brain.
It's a mental thing. I got to work on it.
We got to talk to Ball Striker to see if they have a mental aspect of their program.
Yeah, we'll work.
Nice, love it.
All right, Matt. What's something you want to improve on in 2022?
This is always mine. Like you can make the jokes about I'm a busy man, 3 kids, coaching, do a lot of things where I'm not able to be around a lot of stuff. But I would like to at least get to swing the club once a week. It's always my goal. I never get to do it, but it's just from the standpoint of we talked about being tired or out of shape or whatnot. But even just swinging the club once a week, whether it's at the range, at the net at home, something like that, but also expectations, right? Like if I'm not doing that, getting out and this is kind of cheating because this was kind of what I learned about myself in 2021 is just being happy to be out there, right? And just expectations, realistic expectations. If I haven't practiced in 2 weeks, haven't played in 4, like I'm not going to go out and, a good score for me is an 84. I'm not going to shoot 84 and being okay with that. Like if I have a triple and that, and moving on. And as you guys, know me well, I'm terrible at that, but that's what I'd like to work on is just, enjoying being out there and realistic expectations for where I am from a golfing perspective of, working on my game and just, again, expectations and trying to practice once a week. So those are my 2022 goals.
I'm going to translate that for Matt. That's limiting the number of third-person call-outs.
That's no fun. That's no fun for anybody. Now I'm known for that. I got people that I just met through these trips that are like, I've never met this guy. He's like, Mel, you're the Matthew guy. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Videos, baby. That's what videos do.
Exactly.
Good stuff right there. Good stuff.
All right, Rob. Can I guess Rob's first? Can I guess?
Hold on,
yours?
I'm pulling up my spreadsheets because
Oh,
I've got a few.
Christ.
Okay. Well, the last time you were out practicing, you had a question about flighted wedges. So I'm wondering if in 2022, your goal for yourself is to actually understand what flighted wedge means.
Not at
No?
all.
No,
Although
okay. I was not at all.
that's still that 3/4 9-iron. I think was it on 12? Still one of
Was
the
it
best
the
shots I
par?
hit
I
on.
thought it was the par 5.
I can't remember. All I know is it was a good shot. It was
I
great.
think it happened twice.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did do it twice. He had a great caddy once again for that.
Definitely. Well, to that point, actually, that is my goal. Is this year is
get a
it's
caddy?
actually no, not to get a
Oh.
caddy. Is
Point him
to be better with the irons, but also just learning more about finding the right yardage and using the club for the right club at the right situation with the right yardage. And so had a moment with the 4 of you guys last year when we played Paynes Valley when I think what was that? Well, that was 12, right? 12 or 13? I can't remember, but we stood over that shot for like a good 10 minutes.
And you thought
we were
Tony
talking
was
about,
insane.
I thought he was completely crazy.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you got to hit this number. And I was like, but that would be this club and it would be this. And he's like, just do it. And I did. And sure enough. So really the goal for me is really more just about understanding the right circumstance to use the right iron and hit more greens in regulation. So
I think managing realistic expectations is another one. We live in this era of watching guys hit 7 irons, 214 yards, and then we go to the range and there's like a 175 sign out and we fly it there a couple times and we think we can do it every single time. And if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember the exact yards yet, but it was like 119 yards or something like that. And we were talking about the ridge that was guarding in front of the
and you're like,
flag.
you're like, hit a 9-iron.
You got to get it.
Yeah. And I was like, I'll hit a 9-iron well past that. And you're like, just hit a 3/4 knockdown 9-iron. And I was like, who is this guy? What's he talking about? Sure enough. Yeah. I think I hit it like 121 yards.
Yeah. Because if, we were playing into the wind and, I think one of the things that I said to you is that if you take less club and you hit it harder and it goes higher, it's going to spin more, right? So it's not going to go the distance and you'd rather be longer than shorter, but it was funny being there because I think you went like in the bag, then put the club back, and it was just like
addressed the ball, came off of it. No.
Oh, he couldn't. We got in the cart afterwards, and he was just like, his head was still spinning, like how that happened.
Here we are 4 months later, and I'm still spinning about it. So yeah, that's my goal is to kind of bring that into the game.
But that's something that you're gonna be able to now reference that. And in a game, it's always Andy and I talked a lot about this. There's always times in rounds of golf for me where I remember other rounds of golf, and like I try to think about that type of stuff. And I will say that one of the best things about playing at the same golf course 90% of the time is the fact that you get to know. I mean, I'm sick. I remember everything, like sporting wise or golf wise or rounds. But being at Elgin, knowing the flag is in a certain spot, knowing that the wind direction and how to play it with that shot. And I think I get a little bit hard on myself because I know all this stuff and I'm processing this information. And when I don't execute, I think I'm a little bit hard on myself, but I think I probably did a lot. I'm a lot better now than I used to be. I think that would be the general consensus.
What's your goal?
Yeah.
Mr. 0.9 plus 0.9.
My goal is to get back to practicing. I'm gonna put together a legitimate practice schedule and keep myself to it, whether it's going to Elgin or even if it's going up to Chicago Bills over here on Lake Street over in Hanover Park. I used to have a regimen and I got so comfortable over probably the last 3 to 4 years where I kind of knew that I was like a 1 or a 2 handicap and I could just go out and I could play. And then last year I started to work a little bit because I wanted to get to become a plus handicap again. And then once I got there, I was just like, this is awesome. I'm just going to play golf. And then at the end of the year, I started to get a little bit sideways with my golf swing. So I'd like to put a regimen back together for myself and get back to just being more goal orientated with my practice. It doesn't have to be a lot of golf shots. I've kind of stressed this to a lot of people that go to the range. They go to the range, they hit a couple irons, they grab the driver, they hit 80 golf balls. And we've played rounds of golf where I've hit a driver twice, or, you know, whatever the case may be. I want practice to be fun again. I'm trying to find like the juice to like make practice fun again. And whether it's like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that, I have to say no sometimes to playing golf. And it's very hard with the family that I'm associated with. And just in practice, because they think that playing is practicing, and I don't get that vibe. I get a couple Captain and Cokes, I get a cigar, and I don't feel like I've practiced. I feel like I need to go to bed. So
yeah,
that would
maybe
that would be
Tone,
mine.
Tone, maybe we team up. We say, hey, once every at least 3 weeks, we team up, and it could be fun. You could video my horrible shots and send them out to the crew here. But no, seriously, like you want,
and I'll go to the putting green.
Deal. But no, seriously, you meet me at Elgin. We're there for 30 minutes. We have dinner with the tutors afterwards. It sounds like a good practice.
Yeah, I would love. I mean, I think that's just something. If I want to be more consistent, and I know I'm sitting here as a +1 handicap, and I'm saying that, but you know, everybody knows that the lower your scores get, or the lower your index get, the harder it is to maintain it. Because if you have 4 straight rounds of 81 and you start clicking off scores, you can lose it real quick, right? So I think it's that, and wanting to maintain it, but also I'm having so much fun with the game of golf now. You know, Rob and I have talked a little bit about it. You know, I for everyone out there, I used to be an asshole. I was not a nice person at events. I was not a nice person at. Well, look at this smile now. See, I'm all happy.
Well, it also depends which way the wind's blowing too. But go ahead.
Yeah. It does.
I digress.
Does. But most of the time around here, the wind's out of the west, so it's pretty nice. It's a warm wind.
Most of the time, and then most of the time you're an asshole. But go ahead, dude. You're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
So, but I just enjoying the game more and continuing to do that. So, like maybe that means putting in the work on the side, and then just trying to have a good time with it as we go out there and we play. So,
love it. Can't wait
I loved
to see
all of it.
65.
So, man, I gotta break 66. I gotta do it this year. It's
well, if you practice and you put in that time, you got the game. It could get there. So
I need to. So I'm looking forward to it. I loved everybody's answers. I mean, I knew Andy's, but
everybody, if you've listened to the podcast for a long time, everybody knows Andy's. So
well, I tried helping him.
Determined.
I tried to help him.
I got to put the work in now. It's on me now. I just got to put the work in.
I think you just have to realize you have to realize you're a good friggin' golfer. That's what it is. And like,
yeah,
that's really what it is. Just step over a putt and have confidence.
Bury it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No,
I don't know if you're gonna be able to put this on the Apple podcast. I don't know.
You said it. You started it with the a-hole. You said a-hole first.
Rating. I'm gonna bleep them. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think you're allowed to say a-hole now on the air, because they say it on the radio.
That's the radio.
That's the radio. This isn't the radio. Yeah. All right, gents. Anything further exciting coming up over the next couple of weeks, Rob?
No, nothing exciting. It's gonna be really boring around here.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks. Then that all sounds great, and hopefully everybody can get together next week for this. But I'd like to go over some of the stuff that we're doing with the 4-ball series on the next episode. I also have a couple really cool questions as it pertains to public golf courses, private golf courses that we've played before, and if there's a golf course that you could play for the rest of your life. And I think I'm going to ask everybody about that. And I also want to cover a little bit about the game of golf and its trends, from some of the stylish joggers that we see out there to sort of the decorative shirts nowadays, to sort of some of that stuff. I think everyone out there is accessorizing a lot, even the males, which is a good thing to see. Yes,
lots of color.
Definitely black, white.
Hey, he's got white in his collar. That's to be happy.
Yeah, he's white. He's flashing it today.
I do like that, and I appreciate all you guys. I know we've got one gentleman under the weather. Matt's probably going to get yelled at as soon as he walks out of that French door over there with the transom above it. Rob has to
Ooh.
go tell the kids that they can put back Fortnite on the internet because it was not working earlier. So thank you,
Yeah.
gentlemen, for joining everybody tonight, and we look forward to the next time.
Thanks for having us.
Good night.
Good work.